remedies. Natural remedies, they have been around for thousands of years, actually, thousands of years we've been around. In ancient history, places like India, China, Greece, and Egypt, I mean, just to name a few, they have been using natural remedies for like eons. Our indigenous people in many parts of the world, they also really rely on plants for healing. So they will definitely go to the plant healer first before they would go and get a bottle of, prescription medication, if they even did that. It was always about plants. What plant can help me heal this or that? So interesting to note. So that's kind of nice. There's Diane, nice to have you. So since
well, I was inside with some company, so I just decided I'd come out here so I could talk to you.
Oh, great. Good for you. You probably do you have people over for Thanksgiving? Is it sort of already starting, just the festivities, right? Maybe?
Yes, I'm at my son's. He had us over
for Thanksgiving. Very nice. Mm-hmm. Well, it's so good. I'm so glad you could come and join us. I mean, you might learn something interesting for you. And it's nice just to get together with family. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you in the United States, if that's where you're coming in from. I'm actually in Canada. We have our Thanksgiving in middle of October, which seems awfully early for you guys, right? Because it's a month early, or a month and a half earlier. It's usually the second week in October.
We have it on Columbus Day. It's a Columbus Day in the United States. When you have yours.
When we have ours. Okay, that makes sort of sense. Yeah, so we have been using plants for a long time. And I always think of it as, like, I put this on the side, think of it as a 1,000-year trial, vast clinical trial of testing things with medicinal plants. Because, in the beginning, we used to test, right? We didn't know what this plant was going to do. So we would try different things out. Now, it is possible that we as humans looked to our animals to see what they were doing, because there is a behavior in animals called zoopharmacognosy. It's kind of a funny word, zoopharmacognosy, which actually means the behavior of animals to self-medicate themselves. Isn't that interesting? So they would seek out certain plants depending on what was going on with them. So we'll understand this with our pets. Like, I can hear one in the background there. Dogs and cats, what do they do when they're not feeling good? If their tummy is a little bit like unsettled, what do? They go look for grass. And as soon as you see a cat eating grass or a dog eating grass, they're going to throw up, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get themselves to throw up. So this is in our domestic animals. We see them doing this. Things like chimpanzees. The chimpanzee will look out for the Aspilia plant, specifically for the Aspilia plant, so that they can get rid of parasites that they might have in their bodies. So you can see animals have been doing this a long time. They sniff out certain plants to figure it out. And so humans, we've been kind of like watching our animals and testing stuff ourselves. So fast forward to now, we do have a lot of different doctors that use plants and herbs and things like that in their practices, and they're all over the place in our communities. So can you think of the names of some of these types of doctors that might use natural medicine? It's probably somebody in your community. Any names, any ideas? Has anybody heard of a naturopath?
Would it be holistic?
Yeah, holistic. There's some people will call them holistic practitioners, naturopaths. Any other things you can think of? Herbalist? What about herbalist? Sometimes we have herbalists that deal just with herbs. Can you think of any other ideas? So we call them, there's different names, naturopath. What about TCM? Who is familiar with TCM? That's traditional Chinese medicine. Now, these doctors, they definitely use different like herbs and stuff to make their little concoctions or little drinks. Teas, usually it's in a tea. Herbal medicine doctor, aboriginal medicine, or bush medicine. So these are all some names. Now, I don't have them all up here. What about homeopathic? Homeopathic specialist or herbalist, homeopathic practitioner, I guess they would call themselves. So there's lots of different names, which I find just fascinating. Now, they really study plants and herbs and spices and food. So while there's thousands of them out there, I've chosen like a handful for us to talk about today that go with these 7 ailments. So let's get going, because we got 7 ailments to go through. And these really are some that you guys have asked me about. You guys have asked me about these. All right, so the first one is high blood sugar. High blood sugar. You don't have to be diabetic to have high blood sugar. What if you are pre-diabetic, like you're on the verge of becoming diabetic? All of us, no matter whether we're diabetic, pre-diabetic, or just sort of in the norm most of the time, still want to make sure that we don't have sugar sitting in our blood for too long. So what are some ways to kind of bring our sugar levels? Like what, okay, let's, for example, it's Thanksgiving. Are we going to overindulge maybe in some sweet things, like some desserts after the meal? We probably are. Or are there snacks out already and we're eating kind of sweet things here and there? So we want to keep the blood sugar levels down in our bodies. You can actually even do this today during your Thanksgiving. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is the fragrant spice from the bark of the Ceylon tree. That's the cinnamon I want you to get from the Ceylon tree. Make sure you read your ingredients on your bottles, because there is a different type of cinnamon as well, which is nowhere near as healthy as this Ceylon tree cinnamon. It's very versatile. We tend to think of it to go with sweet, but it doesn't. You can sprinkle it in your coffee. You can sprinkle it in your oatmeal. Jen, do you have a question about that?
Yes. Will you have this in our notes?
I think that I will just talk a little bit about the different ailments, but no, I don't think that you're going to have the details that are in the class. So
the name of the cinnamon, because I don't have a pen. I'm not at home.
Okay, I will write that one. I will make sure I put that in the Ceylon tree. Yeah, I'll put that in the notes for you. I've just made a note here to make sure I add it in there. And otherwise, I just say to people, come back to my classes, come a couple times. You learn different things depending on the questions people ask. So cinnamon's actually very versatile. We think of it with sweet, like cinnamon buns and sweet stuff, but you can actually put cinnamon in soups and in casserole dishes. One thing that I love to do is I take my roasted vegetables. So like I cut up like chunks of zucchini and different vegetables. And then I do a little bit of salt and pepper, and I massage in some olive oil. And then I sprinkle cinnamon on my vegetables and roast them in the oven. And I'm telling you, it's fantastic. Cinnamon just naturally helps to bring your blood sugar levels down. And also helps to improve your insulin sensitivity, which is something you want. You want to have better insulin sensitivity. So it's proven. They've shown it in studies to say cinnamon's that good. So I would say get your cinnamon, put it in your shaker, have it on your table, and whenever you have a chance, sprinkle it on something. Hey, maybe it goes nice on a piece of turkey with gravy. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe